What's up, everyone? This is Ray Baguio, and you're listening to Digitally Matters, a podcast for anything digital that really matters to you and your business. Let's start the show. In this episode, I am joined by Jam Mayer, Chief Conversologist at Conversology. The company helps their clients engage, nurture, and retain customers with digital strategy. She reveals a different approach to building your business other than funnels. And she shares how you can start doing this for your business now. Okay, let's jump in and listen to our conversation. Anyways, okay, thank you again, Jam, for being here and for saying yes to this invitation to be part of this episode or to be my guest today. And before we proceed, could you please I already known Jam for years ago. So from years ago, years back, I've worked with her on certain project way back. But I don't want to talk about that. Could you please tell us more about you, Jam? And if you can share something interesting that people might not know about you, then that'll be better.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Ray, for having me. And hello, everyone, whoever is listening today,
Yeah,
tonight, depends on wherever you are in
wherever
the
you are.
world, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Name is Jam Mayer. Um, Not a lot of people know that I'm related to John Mayer. Not just kidding.
Oh,
Uh,
I
that's
was shocked there. Okay,
yeah. Let's start there. No. And he's listening right now. I was just kidding.
okay,
It's just
okay.
it's been a century-old joke, so to speak, because of my last name, and sometimes people do ask me if I'm related to him, but no, unfortunately, I'm not. It
Unfortunately,
would be
okay.
great. But yeah, no, I'm currently in New Zealand. I am not in the Philippines. I'm in Auckland, New Zealand. I am very blessed actually to be here, especially during these times.
Mm-hmm.
And I am a conversologist. Well, there you
Oh,
go. A conversologist is basically a communicator, is
uh-huh.
someone who is part of the conversology team
Mm-hmm.
or outside of conversology, which is basically a digital consultancy and training company.
Mm.
Conversology, by the way, is spelled with an IE at the end. There's a story behind that, but I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
If anyone's interested, you can stalk me and Google me and ask me privately. I will tell you the story. But
Okay.
yeah, no, but outside of conversology, a conversologist is basically someone who is not into funnels. And
Oh,
I'd love to talk to you. I mean, I'd love to talk about that because it's a little controversial, if you don't mind.
sure.
And we are not into funnels, and we believe that digital marketing, for example, or marketing per se, doesn't have to be all about um, the funnels, meaning there is a linear way of doing things in terms of marketing. Or should I say, marketing doesn't have to be always short term. We always believe in the long term gain. That's it.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. You know what? This is just the first time I've heard this from you, right? That you are not really that fond of funnels and you're actually advocating something that is not dependent on how funnels um are helping or is helping brands or businesses. This is actually interesting, Jam. For me, it doesn't seem like that's the end of it all. I mean, that's not the only way to go about communicating or engaging with a business or with your audience or with your prospects or customers. I think there's also other not better ways, but not necessarily better ways, but probably a good way to really interact with your audiences, right? By the way, just to be a bit personal here, I'm just gonna ask a few personal questions. How do you manage everything? I mean, the daily chores or daily routines. Do you follow certain like a habit or like you follow a certain checklist or to do list each day? Do you do like gratitude journal or everything to help you be productive during the day?
So, are you to clarify? Are you talking about just in general, both the personal side
Yeah.
and work, or yeah? Okay. Um, well, one is my calendar is I depend on my calendar very like 100%.
Digital calendar?
Um, yes,
Oh,
yes. I
okay,
mean,
cool.
like Google
Google
Calendar.
Calendar, same here. Okay.
Only Yeah, only because it's not just for meetings, but it's also for tasks,
True.
deadlines and so on and so forth.
Hmm.
Because if I don't, I will forget stuff because there's just too many moving pieces,
True.
not just within the business. Because I also manage another business, but that's another story.
Mm.
So it's really juggling all of that plus the personal life. So yeah, I work around my calendar. Everything has to be in my calendar.
Nice. Okay. All right. That's interesting. I've been trying to do that. And sadly, though, like I mentioned to you just before this recording, I get overwhelmed each time. There are a lot of apps out there. I've been using ClickUp. I tried to use ClickUp and Trello, Asana, Airtable, and other apps out there, even Notion. I've been trying it
Yeah.
out. And but I always go back to the old reliable digital calendar. And yeah, it's a good thing that I now know another person who also is doing or running his business and his personal stuff just with the digital calendar. And yeah, we can put the task there, we can integrate everything because it's under the Google ecosystem, right? So it actually does
Yeah.
or should work. So I should focus on that as well. This is actually another reminder for me to not be flipping around other apps and then find myself going back to the calendar again. Thank you for the reminder, Jam. Okay.
No
And
problem.
how long have you been doing this? I mean, you're into digital marketing or at least in within that industry, right? How long have you been doing this?
More than 2 decades. I
Wow.
mean, even when I mean, 2000 or maybe 99, I don't know when that was, but I remember I was still even working in corporate, and I was already starting my journey, well, as a blogger at that time, and then
Mm-hmm.
just moved on to the different disciplines of digital marketing and so on. Um, yeah, it's been 20 years
20 years. My
and
gosh.
counting.
Yeah, I think I remember one of your interviews. I guess you were still in the Philippines back then, and
Yeah.
I will not mention about I'll not mention the year, but I think I saw you with Janet Oral, and that time
Yes.
I was just also starting with just started blogging, but I really didn't pursue that type of career in blogging because it can be very um overwhelming as well, overwhelming and challenging, and you need to keep up with what's going on and that. But I was also able to watch that interview, and you're one of those people aside from Janet who's actually have given me some ideas on how to pursue this digital business stuff. You know what I mean. So I've been here for almost 10 years. So you've been in this industry for longer than I've been. Anyways, so for all the 20 years, I'm pretty sure you've seen a lot of innovations, a lot of issues, concerns, problems, and also solutions that have helped businesses. Is this the reason why you've started this business, Conversology?
Um, the I guess around conversology,
Mm-hmm.
we focus more on the digital journey. Well, our slogan actually says, conversations that move you and your business forward.
Oh, I see.
Um, and with our lab, which we're launching soon, is all about connections. So it's all about the community. The Through the years, one thing that I've noticed is that a lot of people are doing a lot, the short term type of tactics.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is, yes, it may work at some point and
Mm-hmm.
it may work for a short, that's why it's called short term. But what happens is that it's the longevity. So the customer experience or the user experience, whatever it may be, the audience actually
Mm-hmm.
is taking the they get affected, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
not the right words to say, but they're the ones who's actually um not gaining any benefit from those short term tactics within
Oh.
digital marketing, because it's either if it's a fad, or some guru would say that this actually works, and it does work for 30 days, and then what, and then it just destroys
Mm-hmm.
um the audience's perception of digital marketing, if that makes any sense,
Yes,
because
yes,
of
it
those
does.
things, right?
Yeah.
So my goal with Conversology is like, okay, let's do everything right. And because it is, and this stems from social media, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because digital is not just all about the zeros and ones, and it's not all about the tools. Because it's
Mm-hmm.
interesting you mentioned about the tools and you get overwhelmed, and there's more every day, right?
Yeah. True.
um so our point is, well, if you remove that, or it doesn't matter what platform or tools or channels that you're using, but the center of it all, really, to make it successful within the digital space, is all about the relationships, um, the conversations that actually happen during the journey. And that's what we focus on. And that's what Conversology is all about. That's what I'm also trying to do, is to get more people to become a conversologist. Hope that's kind of making sense
It does. It does.
in your head, or in anyone's head who's ever
Yeah. Yeah.
listening. I hope I didn't confuse you guys.
Actually, I've heard a lot of related strategy that
Yeah.
you guys promote. Like, of course, it's we always get to hear this conversations, converse with or talk to your customers or talk to your
Yeah.
audiences, and we all that stuff. We all hear that stuff. But when it comes to like execution, sometimes we
Mm,
just lose into or lose into the trap of just relying on the app, relying on the data, relying on the platform and how the platform measures our successes supposedly, like if we're gaining any likes or any clicks and all that, and if the CTAs are we're getting technical, even though we promote and we agree that we need to really get in touch with or at least converse or talk to the audiences that we're trying to reach out. But it's not, it might be too grand for some. Like it's becoming a cliche sometimes now that
yes.
when we hear about it, right? When we hear about it from webinars from supposedly experts, and yeah, probably they're experts, but we hear it from them. But when it comes to execution, especially if I'm a small business owner, um how do I practice that, or how would I do that in let's say, indulge me in this on this, Jam. Let's say if I'm a business owner, I have a small budget and I like what you guys promote, and you guys are passionate about. If I would like to do this on my own, simple actions that I can do for my business, where exactly should I start, and how should I start?
It's all about messaging.
Messaging.
It's
Okay.
if yeah, if there was anything that you should focus on, is messaging, or your point of difference. I know it's cliche, but believe it or not, there is still a lot of people think that they know what their point of difference is. I mean, I just came from a meeting today, and
Mm-hmm.
the owner is actually from has a marketing background,
Mm-hmm.
and she asked me plainly, okay, you stalked our website, you stalked all our channels and
Stalked.
stuff, what do
Okay.
you see? Because I
Okay.
did ask them, it's like, well, what is your point of difference? And me being me, I was very straightforward, and I said, well, one thing is clear. You want people to know that you are an expert, and
Mm-hmm.
you're multi awarded and so on, and you're a thought leader in this space.
Mm-hmm.
However, if I change and remove all the logos in there and your name and put another one
Mm-hmm.
in place of that, then your company's gone. So, in other words, there's really no point of difference. Everybody's going to say they're multi-awarded. Everybody's going to say this and this, etc. So if any small business should really focus on to compete with the big guys or other small, small business owners, just pick your smallest viable audience to talk to with the right
Mm.
messaging. That's it.
Oh, this actually reminds me of what Seth Godin used to say. I mean,
Mm.
mentioned, right? Yeah, talk to the 1%, and then just on your. It doesn't matter whether your tribe is small or huge. That's your tribe. Those are the people or the audiences who will get to know you, who you would want to be known for, not the rest of the people out there, the audiences out there, right? So it
Yeah,
helps.
and believe it or not, I mean, most of the stuff, and I believe in. I mean, I guess the inspiration comes from him, and he's
Mm.
he's number one in my list.
Ah,
And I've
okay.
followed him for years and years and years. All have all his books and stuff, etc. And yeah, I mean, I don't follow the other gurus or marketing stuff people, but
Okay, good for you.
him, yeah, yeah. So
So,
yep, no. Hmm.
conversation. Okay, the what I would I've known or I've been reading or stalking your term, not mine. I've been stalking your profile as well, and what your company does and what Conversology does, and I like the principles that you guys promote, like the journeys, engagement, the conversations, and the that has something to do with the customers, focusing on the customers, not on you or not the brand, not specifically the product or the services, but the customers, right? And then not just focusing on that, but at least be able to come up with um, a strategy that wherein you will converse or you will get in touch, actively be talking to your customers, knowing, understanding them, right? So that's what you guys champion um, for, not just the product. You want them to, or sa nakikita ko is you want them to come up with your brand for your company, not the other way around. Because the test that you mentioned a while ago with that client of yours, parang ano siya parang eye opener siya sa akin na people will say we're the number one in this field, in this niche or in this industry. But if you, yeah, that's actually interesting. Take out the logo, the brand, and the name, and then place it with someone else's in your. Would it still result? Would you still look like you? Only your customers would be able to say that nah, it's different with brand A. Brand B is just really some of one of those na who would want to really be top in the market. So parang okay yung test mo ah. I might also try
Yep.
that out in.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's good. It's good. It's and believe it or I mean, I totally agree with you. I mean, every time I do that, and it's our test as well,
Mhm.
and that's how we stretch our brains and stuff and say, well, hang on, how can we? Because diba, I'm sure you've heard, and everyone in the marketing world always would say, cut through the noise. Okay,
Yeah.
we already know that,
Mm-hmm.
but how? Right?
Exactly.
And the most powerful one is really I don't even want to say it's branding, it's really still messaging. It's still messaging. um like for example, just I'll give myself as an example.
Yes.
The messaging that I'm, well, when I get the chance, obviously, because I'm also busy, but when I get the chance, as much as possible, we want to be consistent in telling people or in our messaging one phrase: journey is not linear. Okay, and
Journeys.
everybody says, what do you mean? Well,
Mm-hmm.
the funnel.
Oh,
It's a very
okay. There you
controversial
go.
topic, right? It's like, no, it's all about funnels. And what's interesting is I had that, um this was during lockdown, first 6 months of the year, I forget now, I think it was July or June. It was Digicon here, and when I mentioned, and it was the first time I did that presentation around funnels, no, journey's not linear. And the host was saying, well, hang on, but it's all about funnels, isn't it? It's everybody's just saying go
Yeah.
through the funnel, go through the funnel. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, blah. I said, yeah, I'm not saying no to the funnels, but there is another way. So because of that, it's quite unique, and it's quite kind of what's the word that they tell me? Thought provoking. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Thought provoking. Now it sticks. It sticks in their brain. It sticks, and then I walk away from a meeting, and more often than not, they would remember,
Mhm.
and they'd say, "Yeah, you're the converse something zoologist, and you mentioned about this and stuff, and you don't like funnels." I'm like, "There you go."
You don't like
And
funnels? Okay. That's your branding now. Someone who doesn't
yeah,
like funnels. Okay.
yeah, and I didn't even see, that's a point. I didn't even think of it as branding. I just thought about it as my unique messaging.
Mm-hmm.
And then it becomes kind of my branding or my point of difference. So I cut through the noise so that people will remember me, or
So
at least remember me and Conversology. Hope that all made sense.
yeah, it does. It does. It does. And it actually differentiates you from the rest who are just all saying that it's all about the funnels. But let's say for those who love the funnels or would die for the
Yeah,
funnels,
yeah.
they've been saying that yeah, we can show how this is successful and how this is helping the company. In your strategy, in your company, since you have a different take on um helping the companies through a linear kind of journey, if I'm a business owner, why would I go for you? What can I expect? Like, do I see my business growing in revenue, or can it help, or is it just helping me, or are you guys just helping me with the branding side of the business?
We don't do branding at all for our clients.
Okay.
We don't. We actually help create a strategy, a long-term strategy,
Mm-hmm.
digital space. Obviously, that's the most important thing. People might think we're doing a business strategy, but a digital strategy for a company for long-term goals.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, in other words, things that we do or what we recommend
Mm-hmm.
is tied to obviously the customer journey, as all marketers know what it is,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it's all long term. We're not about, yes, we're about growing, but if you're going to grow 100 people from zero, we want those as much as possible, 90 or even 100 people to stay with you as long as possible. So
Ah,
we're not focused on the top of the funnel. You know what I mean?
okay. Yeah.
We're not just focusing at the bottom of the funnel, etc. We're focusing on the whole thing. But as we said, the journey, believe it or not, is actually not linear, because in reality it isn't. Case in point, okay, everyone's going to go, okay, I'm sure you know the buyer's journey. You start from awareness and you
Mm-hmm.
go to consideration, intent,
Mm-hmm.
yada yada. There are different versions out there.
Yeah.
And then you've got conversion and advocacy and so on.
Yeah.
Cool,
Yeah.
awesome, that's a foundation. But um I lost my train of thought there. But the whole point is, everybody thinks like, okay, we have to follow this journey, and we have to put things in here, and then it's linear, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is, when you start conversing with a few of your clients that either left you,
Mm-hmm.
stayed with you, or even prospects, they go, well, I don't, sometimes I actually start with awareness and then I jump to conversion because
Oh.
it's enough for me. Or sometimes I'm in awareness and then all of a sudden I go to, let's say, consideration, and there's some, say, the call affinity,
Mm-hmm.
and then I jump back to awareness, and then I went, but they jump. It's really not linear.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Think about it. I mean,
Yeah. Oh.
I've had this exercise with a few of our clients, with just, okay, let's create the buyer's journey, sure, let's do that. And when they go through it, Okay, what channel are you in? I'm email. Okay, what would you do and stuff, etc. And they go, oh crap, it's actually crisscrossing, and they
Mm-hmm.
realize it's not actually a line. It's not linear. So
Yes.
why force marketers to go through a funnel? It won't work, at least long term.
Okay. Well, you know what? This is also the strategy that you're trying to advocate for is also how to call this, highlighting the fact that you are, or as a brand, you want to humanize your brand, right? But in humanizing your brand to your customers, you're actually, with the funnels thing, with the funnel idea, it's actually not humanizing your customers at all, because you're somewhat, I mean, humans, we're not really that predictable. I mean, there are certain patterns that you can put them in certain funnels and all that, but like what you mentioned, let's say I'm in awareness, but it's just that since I've heard a lot, not from the brand but from the other people I've or close to me, then I go straight to being an advocate. Let's say, oh, I haven't bought the
Mm.
product, but I think I want to be the affiliate, or I create content. I think I would want to offer myself as a an ambassador. So it's actually deviating from the funnel idea of marketing, right? So because I'm dealing with someone, with a human person. I think it's it's an oxymoron. It's I'm dealing with a human being here, so we can't really
Yeah.
just, okay, you're now in awareness, the next step for you is should be in this one. So if focus too we focus too much on the funnel thing, or the funnel idea or strategy, then we might find ourselves trapped into that kind of thinking. And I like the idea, although it can be complicated though, Jam, because
Mhm.
it can be overwhelming and complicated if I'm going to practice. I think I'm practicing what you're trying to do right now. Let's say like focusing on the person. If that person wants to be an advocate, then don't save that person the trouble of going through the other funnels, right? Other buckets in your marketing strategy. Is that the way to go about it? Am I getting this right?
Yeah, yeah, no, you are. Let me just, I really want to quote something from, he is actually the director of operations of a digital marketing company in Canada.
Go.
And his name is Jason.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting. And I've asked permission as well. So, Jason, if you're hearing this, I've actually, and I've used this in several of my webinars. And a lot of people, like, it's interesting because you just said it sounds complicated and stuff, so it's quite hard, especially for marketers who are so used to funnels. It's quite hard to wrap their heads around the idea. So it seems like it's complicated, and
Mm.
Jason was one of the few people who actually got it right. And I hope you don't mind, and hope that this helps as well your audience. But
Go,
what
go,
he
please.
said was, who actually got it, the concept. He said the actual nature of digital interactions is actually cyclical rather than linear. So
Mm.
relationships are actually cyclical rather than linear points
Mm-hmm.
to the importance of having actual human relationships. So a linear model seems hyper focused on the urgent rather than the important, and a linear focus misses out on different effects. For example, free flow of feedback, trust, and another is the potential for exponential growth, such as through referrals or
Mm.
word of mouth.
Yeah.
So, this model that we're trying to advocate, which is journeys not linear and everything else, is points out that we do work that we're more proud of, where a linear focus is really a kind of a hustle. You hear that all the time, right?
Yes.
A
Mm-hmm.
kind of a hustle and a race to the bottom of the funnel.
Yes.
Yeah, and a cyclical model is much closer to a service oriented approach. So he said, if I got to choose between having a linear conversation versus a cyclical one, I think he knows his choice, which is the cyclical one. So there you go. I don't know if that made
Ah,
sense, but I love quoting him because he actually got it, and he goes, "Oh my God, that's actually brilliant. I never thought of that." So he's changing the way. So he's one of the first few outside conversologists, I guess I would say. So yeah.
okay, okay. Well, actually, it's just clear to me now. It's clear to me now. I mean, the distinction between the two, and just looking at it visually, if you look at the a funnel, it goes to the bottom, right? You mentioned it raise the idea is raise to the bottom for the customers, and then down from awareness down to conversion and what other stuff you have there at the bottom, and then looking at the visually looking at the cycle. If I'm a business, I would rather go for I see growth in the cycle. Like this is not there's no end in if you want your business to grow, I would rather go for the the one that is always active, always there, always running, always growing, compared to the linear thing, the funnel thing. This is just me looking at it visually because I'm
Yep.
I'm actually drawing this here on my pad, and then the funnel seems kind of there's a goal, and then after that, okay, well, yeah, we can choose to go to the top, and then we'll go to the awareness again. So somewhat the cycle makes sense. It's like it's life. It's growing. It's evolving. I think that's the word I'm trying to say here.
Mm,
It's
yeah.
evolving. It adapts to where the customer is, specific customer is in your in that journey with you, right? With your brand. As
Yeah.
to as to the funnel visual thing, it seems like if you go back to the awareness, why? I mean, it creates a lot of confusion somewhat. Now it's clear to me. I'm not quite sure if if I'm saying it right. If it shows that it's clear to me, but it is clear to me. And I've been doing this. I think not doing this, but I've been advocating this myself. Like growing some conversation or some relationship relationships with my audiences. I think that's better. That's better than considering them as where are you? Where are you? Where is this customer or where is this person in my funnel? I think he is in the awareness stage yet, or still. I might need to move him down the funnel. So how? So it doesn't really focus on um the need or building the relationship, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
Compared to the cycle thing.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
exactly. Exactly. So I mean it is an ongoing process for sure. Yes, we still rely on data as needed. We
Mm,
always rely on data. We rely on the touch points where the customer is, etc. It's not a perfect system. Um, I'd be lying to everyone if this system that the framework, and I call it, well, again, the conversologist, not conversology, but the conversologist framework.
mm-hmm.
We are learning through our clients as well, and we're very lucky that the clients that we've got at the moment that we work with is they actually appreciate the framework and they're learning themselves as well. So yeah, so it's a give and take. And what happens, I guess, related to your question earlier is,
Mm-hmm.
we help the companies actually grow long term,
Mm-hmm.
and the retention, we focus on retention, mostly the loyalty and the advocacy and everything, regardless whether it's a B2B or B2C environment or space. It doesn't really matter. It's the same thing. So yeah, so that's what
Cool.
I'm focused on. It's just still a long journey. There's still a lot of people
To convince.
to well, I don't want to say convince, because again, this is not for everyone. It's not for
Yes, true.
for all of the marketers, but I guess for people to understand that there is another way,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're willing to join in with the other way, then come join us, or do the framework with us. I guess that's it. Yeah.
You mentioned about this type of approach is not for everyone. Now, you've already had clients who believed in your framework and
Yeah,
believed in what you guys can do for the business to grow the business, not just in the sales part of it, the marketing part of it, but in the whole journey of the brand as well, right? Like the
yeah,
whole journey to grow, not just in one aspect of things, which is actually kind of um huge for a company to decide to get you
yeah.
on this project or for helping them for this with this journey. They're not just signing you up for just the marketing side of the things. Now, what type of brands or businesses have you helped so far? I mean, what industry?
Oh gosh, from health, like
Wow.
health clinics to um FMCG, because I can't really mention there. Yeah,
No, no, sure.
FMCG, but more. I can say it, sheep milk, for example. So it's a niche.
Mm-hmm.
It's not cow's milk or anything. It's a niche, but it's FMCG. There is finance. There
Mm.
is hypnotherapists. There
Oh,
is.
NLP.
I can
Oh.
go on and on. It's quite. There's a variety, or that it's pretty diverse. Um, Immigration as well, and so on, which is great that we get to work with these type of businesses, because it helps us learn as well what the industry is like, and there will be no one box solution.
Mm.
It will always be customized, so to speak, right? So
Yeah. I don't
yeah, no,
know.
we're lucky to
Nice.
deal with them. I mean, help them, sorry. Yeah.
I don't know why I was a while ago when you mentioned about about these brands or industries. I don't know why I reacted like I was surprised. Honestly, going to be. I'm not surprised. I won't be surprised, and I'm not surprised that you're able to help different industries with your framework, with your approach to not marketing but growing a business with Conversology. It's because even I was about to ask you, what if I'm a business owner, small business owner, and just starting, and I don't have really that much of a budget. Even
Mhm.
though you're not even without going to the details, I think I have an idea why you guys or your framework at least would still help me grow my business, not just in the marketing part of it or side of it, but also the entire business for the entire business to grow. And so I was about to ask you, but then I'll I'll stop. I'll stop and not ask you myself. But if there's a takeaway, let's say if someone is listening right now, I'm a business owner, small business owner. Let's say I have a bakery, and I think would you be able to say something or give some tips for that business owner to do activities or digital initiatives that is within the approach of Conversology?
um I guess three, four things. I mean, oh man, no, maybe one takeaway, but split into mini four things, kind of.
Yes, please. Yes.
um, well, again, I've said it earlier. It's, if there was one big priority that you should, the bakery or any business for that matter, regardless of budget, because you don't need money you know, to think of what your point of difference is, seriously,
Mm-hmm.
and what message you want to communicate to people, and what
Okay.
makes you different from every other bakery out there, right?
Okay.
If you're willing to invest in that because you are serious about growing your business,
Mm-hmm.
then focus on that. I mean, I know there are, just as a sidebar, there are some businesses that they just want to, your mom and pops, and they're pretty content and in staying, their size, so to speak. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're your type of bakery or any business who wants to grow,
Mm-hmm.
not saying super $1 million
Growth. Yeah.
Airbnb
Yeah.
unicorn startup kind of thing, then yes, that's one. I think that's the biggest takeaway. Um, Having said that, within the framework, I mean, there are a few things that you need to consider, which is, your audiences, the
Mm-hmm.
digital channels, um, and automation.
Mm-hmm.
Is because if you're a small business owner, you really don't have all the resources, whether it be people or even money.
Mm-hmm.
So pick things in your workflow and process that you can automate, so you can focus on what you can do and what you do best, and then make sure the capabilities of yourself and your team, is constantly being upskilled, or constantly being what's the word, yeah, I guess upskilling is the right word to say. I know
Uh,
that's a mouthful, but it's all in one, so to speak.
uh,
Hope that
actually,
made sense.
it does, it does. And I'm actually right now looking at those looking at the site you gave me days ago, and I'm looking at the aspects you mentioned, the audiences, the channels, the automations. You need to um of course, you need to first figure out your point of difference among the those in the industry who are doing the same, or probably having the same product or services that you are trying to offer, and then consider the audiences, the channels, and the automations you mentioned about that. And
Yep.
when I was reading through the what it has something to do with the audience. What you mean by audiences? I think it resonates to me in the sense that my my principle in this is marketing side, in the marketing aspect of it. My principle is actually working with what you have right now,
Hmm.
starting from
Yep.
there, and then build on that. If you need to, I think that's the reason why I've been saying that what you guys are doing, what you are actually doing, resonates with me, because I always focus on what you guys already have, what channels you're already doing wonders or successful with, right? Or what audiences you have, existing audience or existing customers you already have now. Don't forget that. Don't focus on retaining more, but focus on them first. And who knows, because they love you so much, they might become your ambassadors, or so to speak. And they can also be content creators. They can create content for you, and then it saves you a lot of money, and it grows your business organically. I'm not quite sure if it's appropriate, but I really am loving all these things that you are sharing, Jam, of what you guys are really advocating for. And I was really hoping that I could still talk to you more about this, but I know we have limited time. But probably every now and then I will ask you. I will will get in touch with you and ask you for more. Now, if there are people here, whether local or in your country, who would like to get in touch with you, where is the best place for them to send you a message?
LinkedIn probably would be best because it is the professional
Oh, okay.
um, social network. Start from there. I mean, all they have to do is just type in my name, and hopefully, I do show up. Yeah. Or just Google Conversology and just email me. That's not a problem. But LinkedIn is the first one, obviously.
LinkedIn is
Yeah.
the first one. Okay. Okay. Any parting words before I let you go?
No, well, thank you again for having me. Yes, I'd love to converse offline if you'd like.
Woohoo! Okay.
And yeah, no, it's just thanks for the opportunity of sharing my message to your audience, and hopefully it does resonate to a few.
So that wraps up our show. That's it for now, and thank you for listening to this episode. I hope you'll join me again next time here on Digitally Matters. This has been Ray Baguio, and until next time, ciao.